Chapter 193 Battling the Mother Scale Skin Phantom. Your blood must be delicious. The Mother Scale Skin Phantom extended its tongue as her eyes displayed an ominous glint. She was a girl with tender, jade-like skin. Her blood would be incredibly savory. The Mother Scale Skin Phantom took a step forward. Just as she was about to put her hand on the idle girl, a man without a shirt on slowly walked out from the shadows in the corner of the corridor. Like an incorporeal door of darkness opening, a living person just emerged from nowhere. The Mother Scale Skin Phantom was shocked. She immediately jumped back in retreat. As she kept close to the safety fence, her eyes carried rage as she recognized the person who came out of the shadows. It's you again." The Mother Scale Skin Phantom clearly remembered Mo Fan. After seeing Mo Fan, her eyes turned red upon seeing her archenemy. She wouldn't forget that it was precisely this person who had killed her husband. "You won't be able to escape this time." Beneath Mo Fan's feet, a purple star atlas was intertwining. Mo Fan would definitely not be lenient with this Mother Scale Skin Phantom. Even if he happened to kill the woman who was victimized by it, he couldn't let this thing continue its crimes. You think you can stop me?" came the hoarse reply from the throat of the Mother Scale Skin Phantom. Compared to the last time they met, her strength had increased a lot. Right now, she was no longer afraid of a primitive magician like Mo Fan. It just so happened that she could finally get rid of this godforsaken person and take revenge for her husband. Her long tongue was like a whip. The mother beast lashed it out, and the tongue snapped toward Mo Fan. Bone Scythe Shield. Mo Fan quickly activated his Bone Scythe Shield. The black shield emerged in front of his body, protecting him entirely. The Lightning Star Atlas was nearly drawn. Mo Fan couldn't let this thing destroy his Star Atlas. Pow! What appeared to be a soft tongue lashed onto the Bone Scythe Shield and immediately crushed it into powder. It was completely unable to withstand a single attack. When the tongue shattered the Bone Scythe Shield, it directly hit Mo Fan's body. When Mo Fan saw the situation going bad, he immediately stopped the Star Atlas and rolled to the side. The tongue still lashed against Mo Fan's back, leaving a deep gash there. If it wasn't for the Bone Scythe Shield taking the majority of the force, then the power of the tongue would most likely have directly pierced right through his back. Mo Fan felt a searing heat on his back, and clenched his teeth in pain. Shit, even the defensive capability of something of Bone Scythe Shield's level could not resist the attacks of the Mother Beast. This Mother Beast's strength was probably at the warrior level. How else could a normal attack from her possibly destroy the Bone Scythe Shield? Die, die, die! While the Mother Beast swung her tongue out, she also let out a careless and tyrannical scream. The tongue flicked higher into the air, and fiercely whipped down toward Mo Fan's head. Mo Fan didn't dare lower his guard. If that hit him, then he'd most likely become a meat patty. Evading shadows, shuttle. While the tongue lashed down fiercely, Mo Fan's body sank down. His entire being dropped into the shadows beneath his feet. Just like passing through a plane, the shadow Mo Fan had turned into began to quickly shift. After he quickly shifted to the corner, his body quickly emerged from that shadow. At this moment, Mo Fan was standing together with the idol. Mo Fan glanced at her. Don't mind me," the idol said as she shook in fear. However, her resolute eyes showed that she could still act. "I will draw her away. If you can, get your lights technician to turn on all the lights on the stage so they make multiple shadows," Mo Fan said to her. The idol nodded. Her complexion was deathly white, yet she maintained a bit of her calm. Mo Fan took the opportunity, when the Mother Beast was retracting her tongue, to jump onto the safety fences on the ceiling of the stage. Fire burst. As he stood on the high ground, the flames in his hands were simultaneously tossed out. The rose-red burning bone flames hit the body of the Mother Beast, and began to burn on her green scales. The burning bone flames would continue to burn. Mo Fan knew that primary magic wouldn't necessarily cause wounds that would be able to kill this creature. However, as long as the flames didn't go out, the wounds would still be there. The Mother Beast let out a screeching sound. When she saw that Mo Fan was about to escape, her incredibly nimble body quickly began to climb up the safety fence like a spider as she began chasing Mo Fan. The flames burned out as the Mother Beast moved quickly. The Mother Beast's scales seemed to possess incredibly strong protective capabilities. The burning bone flames should have been burning into its bones and organs. Unfortunately, not even a spirit-grade burning bones flame was capable of charring the scales of the Mother Beast, much less burning into her. Mo Fan didn't stop using magic. When he saw the flames were being extinguished on the mother beast's body, his palm once again condensed yet another ball of burning bone flames. The fire burst. Rupture would not necessarily be more effective than the burning bones flames that were persistent. Mo Fan wanted to continue enraging the mother beast. That way, he'd be able to direct it toward a location where he could fight. The mother beast was very fast. Mo Fan was unable to fight against her in such a narrow area, and moreover, there were no shadows at the location where he was standing. The blood beast boots had been used before. He was unable to continue using them without replenishing their mana. His bone scythe shield had been directly smashed to pieces. His only defensive move was to use evading shadows. Evading shadows was not an unparalleled spell. As long as someone shot an attack toward the area of the shadow, Mo Fan would not only immediately appear, he would also receive a mortal wound. As he stood on the safety fence in midair, Mo Fan watched the mother beast climbing toward him. He jumped down the fence without thinking. The mother beast seemed to have predicted that Mo Fan would jump down. The mother beast's back legs stomped fiercely onto the pole and jumped down toward Mo Fan at an even faster speed. She is actually this fast. When Mo Fan saw that the mother beast was less than 5 meters away from him, a cold sweat broke out. On the stage in midair, the idle girl had run to the edge of the safety fence. When she saw the mother beast was flying toward the slowly descending Mo Fan with a speed like a sharp sword, her heart began to race. She had to do something, or else Mo Fan would have his chest ripped apart by the mother beast before he even hit the ground. Unfortunately, her reaction was still too slow. The mother beast was like a bat. When moving through the air, she was almost invisible. With her claws stretched out, the mother beast's long tongue also lashed out in midair. This time, she was planning on turning this godforsaken human into minced meat. Chapter 194 The Strength to Survive. The mother beast was so close to Mo Fan that he could smell the stench emanating from her body. The fierce claws came closer and closer. Mo Fan didn't have time to think. His palm condensed yet another cluster of rose flames. He stayed calm and waited for her to approach to just 3 meters away from him before he ferociously tossed out the flames in his hand, directly between the mother beast and himself. Fire burst, rupture. A ball of rose-colored flames exploded between them. When the heat wave engulfed the mother beast, the force of it expanding shoved Mo Fan away. Mo Fan changed direction in midair, falling into the very middle of the stage. The mother beast was indeed a freak. The burst from the rupture caused its body to slow down a little in the air, yet its sharp claws were still reaching out. Swoosh! Cold rays of light followed her claws like swords. The fierce claws were like a number of sharp blades hacking down from the air. Even the rose flames that Mo Fan tossed out seemed to be cut apart by those claws. Some of the shattered bits of the lights touched Mo Fan. On Mo Fan's arm, chest, and the left side of his face, multiple cuts appeared. The wound on his arm was relatively deep. Perhaps even the bones were touched. It was so painful that Mo Fan took a deep breath. The cuts on his chest and face weren't too deep, or else he would have lost his life. Boom! Mo Fan slammed onto the stage heavily, the cuts already bleeding. This mother beast's strength was much stronger than before. Her speed was astonishing. Her fierce claws were so fast that they created a whirlwind. If he hadn't used the fire burst, Rupture's force to get away, then he'd most likely have been diced up directly. It was now chaos in the middle of the venue. Green demonesses had appeared, sending all of the students running in all directions. There were still some people who were calm. They began to chant their spells to fight off those green demonesses. The venue was indeed going crazy, adding to that no one really knew if the person next to them might shed their skin. Even the people who had battle experience were obviously in a difficult situation. When Mo Fan descended from the stage in the air, it seemed like no one cared about him. All that happened was he caused a couple of the girls who were running in his direction to scream. For these girls, things that were flying could only be described with horror at this moment. Get away from this area. When Mo Fan saw these girls who were screaming their heads off, he began to feel angry. Studying magic for so many years has been for naught. If you were a magician, you were supposed to calmly fight against magical beasts the second you encountered them. Instead, they ran around willy-nilly, like a herd of fat sheep. Just how exactly did they even enter the Pearl Institute? Mo Fan, are you alright? Ling Ling's worried voice began to sound in his ear. Mo Fan climbed up from the little hole that he fell into and used his hand to rub the wound on his face. As he rubbed it, his hand was covered with blood. "I'm still alive. This thing is already at warrior level," Mo Fan replied, his gaze fixed on the mother beast not far away, who was currently letting out some evil laugh. The mother beast appeared to be very proud of herself. She even seemed to be enjoying the pitiful people who had been completely devoured by her children. She enjoyed this kind of cruelty and bloody hunting. SSSSs. SSSSSs. Right at that moment, the girls who were frantically running around before suddenly fell to the floor. Their nails began to grow, and they started to rip apart their own tender skin. They exposed scales, and revealed pairs of extremely vicious and disgusting eyes. After the instructions they received from the mother beast, their gazes were all concentrated on Mo Fan standing at the side, his face all covered with blood. Their tongues began to extend into the air, swaying towards him. Very quickly, behind him and beneath the stage, a couple of green demonesses pursuing their prey also stopped their actions. They suddenly turned toward Mo Fan and slowly crawled in that direction. The mother beast, who was standing not too far away from Mo Fan, did not approach him at all. She seemed to recognize the danger behind Mo Fan's fiery fist, exploding heavens. Thus, when she saw that there was a fire star atlas emerging beneath his feet, she didn't recklessly walk toward him. Instead, she ordered the surrounding green demonesses to directly encircle him. The intermediate fire magic, fiery fist, was indeed incredible, but it couldn't kill lots of them. After seeing more than 8 green demonesses in his surroundings, Mo Fan also did not dare to continue chanting the star atlas. The fiery fist was unable to kill all of these green demonesses. Furthermore, if he used his trump card here, then the mother beast would definitely charge over unrestrained and rip him to pieces. Tisk tisk. As long as I kill you, this place will become my nest. The mother beast let out a strange sound, her voice carrying ridicule. The analysis Ling Ling had done previously was correct. After the mother beast had absorbed the blood from many human bodies, she had acquired a certain level of wisdom and could now speak. Mo Fan, we are planning on charging in. We must give up on the infected people now, or else the people who are injured will only increase. Ling Ling said in his earpiece. It has intelligence. If you come in, then the hundreds of infected people will definitely die, Mo Fan replied. That's still better than having the entire gymnasium being turned into their nest. You are not able to kill that mother beast, a roaring voice interrupted, clearly not Ling Ling. Mo Fan didn't know who the person speaking was. However, it was clear that he was one of the people tasked to handle the case this time. So they want to sacrifice hundreds of infected girls? Hundreds of them? They were all 18 to 20-year-old girls. If you lined up their corpses, what kind of painful and enraging scene would it be? At this moment, Mo Fan couldn't help but recall his first time saving one of the girls. Crawling out of a monster's body filled with scales while being completely naked. This kind of situation did not give Mo Fan any kind of immoral thoughts, because these people had been tormented beyond belief. Their pale white skin had turned purple, without any hint of red. Their bodies were covered in mucus. They could only rely on their instincts to crawl out of it. Whatever beauty and dignity a girl had would mean nothing in that moment. All they wanted was to survive. It was precisely due to that thought that he had charged in here. Whether it was an impulse, or anything else, was fine. He believed that as long as a normal person were to see this kind of thing, they would definitely do their best to save as many people as possible. Mo Fan took a deep breath. He wiped away the blood from his face. Give me a bit more time, Mo Fan said very sincerely to the person in charge. You can't kill it. This is a warrior-level creature. How could you possibly kill that? We are already by the entrance, the bald hunter captain said with a hint of anger in his voice. From the very beginning, he did not believe that a student from the Azure campus could possibly have the ability to kill a magical beast. At this point, the city hunter squad had already prepared themselves to sacrifice hundreds of infected people to protect the thousands of other students. So what if it was a massacre? It was still better than having thousands of people turning into monsters. Scoundrel, didn't I freaking tell you to give me some more time? Mo Fan cursed at the person over the earpiece. Outside of the gymnasium, the hunter standing on top of the large beast's head, the man with the leather jacket, academician Li, the elemental director Zhou Zhenhua, and the bald captain of the city hunter squad all heard the words that were being transmitted from the earpiece, and were all stunned. Just as the bald captain was going to curse back at Mo Fan angrily, the Hunter King on top of the Azure Beast's head opened his mouth. Give him more time, but they also have the right to survive. Chapter 195 Blood-Boiling Raging Fist. Mo Fan HMPHED coldly. You're not the only one with helpers. A moon-colored star quickly emerged in front of Mo Fan, looking like a slow meteor crossing the sky. When the trajectory began to shift, another new star casually appeared. There were a total of 7 appearances of stars. Those stars streaked over like falling moons and opened a rift that led to a crack in the dimensional space. Ooh ooh! A floor-shaking howl thundered over from another world. In a split second, a powerful windstream came forth from the cracked space, forming a skin-flaying sandstorm flying toward the closest green demoness to Mo Fan. The green demoness could never have imagined that there would suddenly be an incredibly strong energy coming from the dimensional gate. She didn't have time to dodge, and was directly smashed by thousands of stones. The scales of a second green demoness were also showing traces of ooze. SSSSSSs. The mother beast let out an angry command, commanding her children to rip this human to pieces. Mo Fan remained still. Just as the 2 green demonesses jumped over, a great blue wolf the size of an elephant suddenly charged out from the rift. The spirit wolf let out another enraged howl. He charged forth from the rift with incredible force, and directly slammed into one of the green demonesses that was leaping toward Mo Fan. The spirit wolf's burst was fearsome, and with his great strength, the little green demonesses were completely unable to endure the power behind his charge. It was like a 3-year-old being hit by a muscular, adult man. The green demoness was sent flying, her mouth filled with blood and bones shattered. After the spirit wolf had knocked out one green demoness, he jumped ferociously after another, his jaws chomping down onto the other green demoness that was attacking Mo Fan. Ugh! The wolf held the green demoness in midair in his jaws, before mercilessly biting down. His teeth bit into tainted flesh. There was a crack of bones giving way. The green demoness was in so much pain that she began to flail her limbs in an attempt to break loose, but she was unable to muster any strength to do so. The spirit wolf bit down a second time. The green demoness was directly bit in two, and then tossed to the side by the spirit wolf like trash. No one took a second look at her. The 2 green demonesses were eliminated in an instant. The remaining green demonesses were momentarily frozen, not daring to take a step forwards. The imposing aura of a wild beast. After Mo Fan gave the beast refining blood to the spirit wolf to refine, the spirit wolf had gotten much stronger than he was back during the rookie competition. Killing this kind of common servant-level monster was simply too easy. Help me deal with the little monsters. Mo Fan called to the spirit wolf. The spirit wolf's teeth were still dripping with the blood of the green demoness. He looked fiendishly at the green demonesses and their surroundings. He would even dare to fight against creatures stronger than himself. These small servant-level creatures were of even less importance. The more of them there were, the more he would chew. You evildoer, if I don't kill you today, then my name is not Mo Fan. Mo Fan shouted at the raging mother beast. SSSSSSs. The mother beast was totally infuriated. If her children were being bothered by a vicious wolf beast, then she would personally go take care of this godforsaken human. She no longer had any patience left. She crouched, and her body shot off like a spring. Her claws gave her an incredible climbing ability. After she jumped onto the large crystal screen, she latched on effortlessly. After adjusting her angle, the mother beast jumped out like a missile once more. With her missile-like speed and sharp claws, she would be able to shred Mo Fan to pieces, even if he had the bone scythe shield up. Evading shadows, shuttle, Mo Fan took a step and jumped to the back of the stage where the shadow from the crisscrossing lights appeared. His entire being was fusing with the shadows. By the time the lights were shining in his new area, Mo Fan had already moved to a different zone. SSSSSSs. Her claws streaked past, like a blood-red arc slowly descending. The half-fenced stage was chopped into, bands of metal severed in a scar a dreadful 3 meters long. The mother beast could feel that her claws cut mostly empty space. Her vicious eyes swept across the shadows in an attempt to find Mo Fan's location. SSSSs. A cold glint flashed in the mother beast's eyes, and in an instant, she disappeared. In the next second, the mother beast was at the drum area, using her 2 claws to rip apart everything in front of her. The metal drum set was like paper as it was shredded. At the same time, the human silhouette in the back also had a large cut emerge on it as it was cut in two. Evading shadow was not an unparalleled spell. If the enemy attacked his location, then a magician using the evading shadow would be even weaker than normal. Normally, the claws might possibly just tear the chest. However, if it was during evading shadow, then a person could be cut in two. The mother beast had located where Mo Fan was hiding, and used her claws without hesitation. When she saw that the human shadow was slowly falling in two, a wide demonic smile emerged on her face. Blockhead, don't you know about things like mirrors? From a completely different location, the exact same human shadow slowly emerged from the dark. At the same time, the place the mother beast had clawed through had numerous mirror fragments falling from it. It looked like Mo Fan's human shadow had disappeared from the fragments of the mirror. Rose flames. Mo Fan shouted angrily, and the rose-colored fiery flames flared up beneath his feet. Mo Fan's body was already covered in his own blood. The blood and the color of the flames seemed to be the same color. When the flames began to flare up, it seemed like the blood also integrated into the rose flames. Fiery fist. An intertwining star path emerged as it constantly supplied energy for the flames. At last, the star atlas appeared. The increasingly fiery rose flames began to spread into its surroundings, with Mo Fan in the center. Exploding heavens. Everything seemed to be ready. The flames that were spreading around him were suddenly retracted. One could clearly see that the large ring of flames in Mo Fan's surroundings had instantly withdrawn, all of them condensed into Mo Fan's fist. Eyes like raging flames, he locked onto the mother beast that was trying to charge over. His eyes burning, Mo Fan yelled out, "Go die," as he threw out the fist with the colossal amount of fiery energies condensed inside. Chapter 196 Giant Shadow Spike. The stunning flames were like a volcano spitting out energy. The gigantic, fist-shaped flames had turned everything on the stage into black powder. As the violent flames came forth, they surged toward the location of the mother beast as they engulfed everything. The mother beast's reaction was quick. She jumped using all four limbs, quickly racing to the bottom of the stage. If she was hit by the full force of a spirit-grade intermediate magic, she would naturally die. She began to frantically run, as though trying to outrace the giant fiery fist unleashed by Mo Fan. In the end, the fiery fist still engulfed her. The flames swept over her body, blasting her into the air. SSSSSSs. The mother beast's body fell beneath the stage, covered with flames. The scales on her body were visibly scorched, with traces of heated swirls on her flesh. The mother beast had barely been able to endure the flames of the burning bones, and her green scales had only displayed a little red color. However, at this moment, not only did her scales get burned into nothing, but her horrifying body still had lingering flames scorching her. The mother beast let out a scream filled with pain while being burned by the flames. Her face was extremely distorted. However, she did not die. After receiving such an incredible attack, this thing was still capable of crawling right back. She was furious, and continuously let out shrieks of pain. She didn't seem to care that there were flames still burning on her body. She charged once more towards Mo Fan. Her speed was by no means slower than when she was uninjured. Moving with that kind of speed usually meant normal people could not even see her properly. Mo Fan, they're about to charge in." Lingling's voice was very urgent. "I understand." Mo Fan's eyes were fixed on the mother beast racing over. "Run away, don't let the mother beast kill you," Lingling said. Mo Fan did not reply. Run? If he was to run now, that was only a road to death. With the speed of the mother beast, she would be able to overtake any running human in no time. Mo Fan stood there as he hurriedly scanned the area around the intercrossed shadows while he watched the mother beast charging at him. Mo Fan could feel the hatred and hostility of the mother beast. At this point, the mother beast was totally set on shredding him to pieces. Star Atlas Book. As he raised his hand, a black scroll appeared in front of Mo Fan. The book imbued with the mana disappeared like tinder, and what remained were traces of little lights. The shadows interwove and turned into a diagram, a star atlas that could be used to call upon the stars. Mo Fan's Shadow Nebula's 49 shadow stars lined up according to the patterns. The arrangement of the Star Atlas book was not very fast. However, Mo Fan only stood there without a single movement. The mother beast's speed was extremely fast. She had scuttled from the area she had fallen from and jumped back onto the stage, and from there was charging toward Mo Fan. During this entire process, Mo Fan was still trying to connect his stars according to the book. It started from a normal shadow star path, and it then doubled, which then began to intertwine with the first one. The 49 stars were being set up according to the star atlas, racing against the speed of the mother beast. If the star linking speed was slower by even a little bit, then it was very likely that Mo Fan would be shredded into bloody bits by the mother beast, before he was able to complete the spell. At this moment, Mo Fan did not have any defensive tricks at all. He was gambling. He bet the speed of his star path drawing would be even faster than the mother beast. SSSSSSSs. The fishy stench that the mother beast let out came forth. The monster was right in front of him. Mo Fan didn't dare to be distracted, or else the effort he put into the star atlas would go down the drain. At last, rays of shadow emerged in front of Mo Fan. An incredibly large shadow silhouette that looked like a massive magic spike formed up. It was floating within an alternate dimension, completely different from those that were plastered onto the shadows. Giant shadow spike. Mo Fan hurled out the shadow spike filled with dark energy. This strange object immediately disappeared. You could only see its incredible shadows pass by through the intertwining lights. The mother beast was already very close. Her claws were reaching toward Mo Fan. This claw was enough to cut Mo Fan's head from his body. Mo Fan raised his head, seeing the claw that was about to take his life. His face began to split as the wind from the mother beast's claws came forth, from his forehead to the bridge of his nose, from the corner of his eyes to his cheeks. Just the wind from the claws was able to split apart the skin of a person, let alone after the claws landed. His head would be cleanly cut in half. The claws slashed down. However, she wasn't able to touch Mo Fan's face. It was like she didn't properly calculate the distance. Her powerful claw barely missed Mo Fan's face. SSSSSs. The mother beast hissed out in anger. It was like she was being held up by something. If the mother beast took yet another half step forward, then she would be able to split Mo Fan in two. Unfortunately, she seemed unable to move. Her frantic charge had come to an abrupt stop, just short of him. After the mother beast turned her head to look, she realized her shadow had been stretched out by the lights on the stage. What made her extremely angry was there was an extremely large spike, like a sword, stuck into her shadow. Her shadow was firmly pinned to that area. Once her shadow had been pierced through, the mother beast's entire body seemed to be restricted. The mother beast was stuck in one place. If the shadow can't move, then the body won't be able to move, either. The mother beast's claws were flailing hysterically while her legs continuously kicked in place. However, her pinned waist was not able to move a single step. Thunderbolt. In front of the mother beast, not even a meter away, Mo Fan's eyes suddenly lit up bright purple. He was focused on the mother beast's ugly face, while at the same time, his own bloodied face displayed a satisfied smile. The element stars that were the strongest between heaven and earth began to line up in front of Mo Fan. These stars were those that Mo Fan was the most familiar with, and were much faster than the shadow stars. As the stars turned into star paths, and the star paths had intertwined into a star atlas, the lightning star atlas emerged immediately. The majestic power seemed to flood in as it condensed within Mo Fan's finger. Die! Mo Fan jumped back as he pointed toward the mother beast's head with his finger. The lightning cloud immediately formed. The aura was extremely powerful. A loud rumbling of thunder split the air. Above the very center of the chaotic gymnasium, a thick lightning bolt split open everything as it descended. The breathtaking purple color and its destructive power made it seem time itself had frozen as it exploded on the stage.